biggest blocker in business will be yourself. You will be your biggest bottleneck. One thing business will do is expose your trauma, like hard and fast. The cost of success is embarrassing. In business, if you're wanting to achieve the extraordinary, you must be around the extraordinary to embody it. Say yes and figure out how to do it later. Yes, to an extent, right? But don't say yes to a point where you're like, I actually don't know how to do that and I've took someone's money.
If you know your service is worth that and they can't afford it, that's fine too.
Money takes money to make money. One thing that I learned very quickly was that confidence gets you very, very far in life.
If you're serious about building a business that actually makes money, not just looks good on Instagram, this video is for you. I sit down with Georgia Jasmin, award-winning business consultant, founder, and woman behind one of the most sought-out consultancies in the UK. And what came out of this conversation was 7 steps that will show you how to exactly go about building a 6 or 7 figure business and the mindset behind it, which is very important. Georgia's also going to be talking at my event this summer. So we're going to be explaining all of that, and yeah, let's get into the video. Before we get into strategy, I want to kind of understand your story, because obviously you didn't just wake up and suddenly have a super successful business. I want to kind of understand the real journey behind it, so people or other women that are kind of listening, starting out, can see how you got to where you are. So you fill us in.
Okay, Brill. So I started off as a performer. So I've been performing my entire life from the age of like 2-3 years old. I got put in baby ballet, and then I realized I want to make a career out of this. So I went to vocational dance schools, struggled in like mainstream school. I wasn't book smart. I was intelligent, but not book smart. I guess you can say like street smart. Went to dance school, enjoyed every second of it, and then went traveling around the world dancing. It was amazing. Just I'm living la vida loca, living the dream, right?
And where did you grow up?
I grew up in Manchester.
Oh.
Yeah, so when I was dancing, one thing that I learned very quickly was that confidence gets you very, very far in life, in all walks of life, whether it's in business, whether it is in negotiations, whether it's in career development, whether it's in relationships, friendships. Confidence, the ability to advocate for yourself, the ability to go after what you want, gets you very, very far. And from a young age, I had to negotiate my contracts. So from like the age of 18, I was negotiating my dance contracts, my pay, my terms, like whether I needed a break in between contract, whatnot. So I got very comfortable with asking for what I wanted and understanding what I wanted, right? And leading into my business journey, that's something that has stood me in such good stead, because I have been able to almost kind of jump ahead when it comes to the negotiations of larger contracts. So I fell into business because I started a skincare brand. Now, when I was a lot younger, people, when I tell this story, are like, you have amazing skin. I'm like, yeah, well, when I was younger, I really suffered with my skin. I tried all sorts of medicated products, and they either improved my pigmentation, they didn't do what they were supposed to, or they fixed one problem and then another problem came. So I resorted to natural skincare, using natural products and natural ingredients, blending them together in my mum's kitchen. They worked for me, right? So I decided I was going to package them up and sell them, which I did. I opened up a Shopify account, opened up an Instagram account. And this is like back when Instagram was not oversaturated, when you could literally post a picture with a product and it would sell, right? That was the era that we were in. Now it's a lot more hard. It's a lot more difficult, right? So I put them on Instagram, and obviously my friends and family bought, and it took 3 months to get a sale. And the first sale came from the US, which is so interesting, right?
That is interesting.
Very interesting. And the reason it's interesting is because my mum used to always say to me, you've got the world at your fingertips, that you genuinely have the world at your fingertips. And that is proof that you do, because little old me in my mum's kitchen whipping up these cranes, and someone from the US was like, yeah, I'm going to buy that, right? So fell into business. It was a bit of a side hustle at the start. As it was growing and scaling, I was like, actually, I'm very good at this. One thing I know how to do, I know how to sell, right? And that comes from confidence, having confidence in whatever the product, service, offering you have to give, value you have to give. Went on to have a 6-week ad campaign on ITVB, featured wild journey, Luella. Vanity Fair, featured in Vanity Fair, British GQ, Health and Wellbeing magazine. Just blew up my personal brand very quickly. A lot of people were saying, how have you gone from dancing to owning this really successful skincare brand. And this is when I fell again. All my entrepreneurial kind of journeys, paths have been accidental. I have never sat down and said, this is what I want to do. Only more recently have I become really, really structured in my growth, because now it's about goals, right? And it's about achieving those milestones. But when I started, it was just like, oh, I've fallen into this, I've fallen into that. So people ask me, how have you done this? And I started, quote unquote, coaching people for £20 an hour. So teaching people how to build businesses, how to market effectively, how to set up on Companies House, what's a trademark, what's a patent, like all of these things. And that marked the start of Georgia Jasmin Consultancy, now Georgia Jasmin Creative. There've been so many iterations of this business. It started as big oak trees, and the reason I called it big oak trees was because my mum always says, out of small acorns grow big oak trees. And it was a small acorn. I was blending up cream in my mum's kitchen. Do you know what I mean? Taught me so much. I mean, we had a campaign with Sweatcoin, which is where people get rewarded for their steps and they can cash out at retailers. And we were one of the retailers. Now, I did not do my research into how many users were on this app. I was just like, yes, an opportunity. Woo, woo, woo. Could I meet the demand? No, I had all these people trying to cash out their coins on the website. I didn't even have enough product, right? Like, just crazy. I was learning that slow and steady really does win the race. Like, if you scale too quickly and you haven't got the infrastructure and the systems and the team beneath you, you will fall as fast as you climb, right? I mean, GJC has evolved, like I was saying, from big oak trees, then to Georgia Jasmin, then to Georgia Jasmin Consultancy, and now Georgia Jasmin Creative. And the reason being is because the work has shifted. We're a 360 brand build agency. We will take you from idea to reality, from concept to a tangible product, or scale a brand that already exists. We work with founders and we work with influencers and creators, so creators who want to be commercialized. Like, you know, the influencer landscape is shifting so greatly. Nobody now wants just to be chasing brand deals. They want ownership. They want IP, intellectual property. And yeah, that's what we do. And I love every second of it. Is it easy? No. Is it rewarding? Absolutely.
Okay, so for someone who has the skills and the ambition, because it doesn't seem like you doubted that you could do it in any way. So the women who are kind of watching, and they know they have the skill, they have the skill set, but they don't, they're like, okay, how do I go about this? Or I'm thinking of quitting my job, or I'm thinking, do I get started? What would you maybe advise to them?
I would say that there's a lot of internal work that needs to happen as you move into business, right? Because the biggest blocker in business will be yourself. You will be your biggest bottleneck, and not just from like a systems and operations standpoint, but from like a mental clarity, emotional standpoint, you will be your biggest blocker. I think that if you identify in yourself that you've got any money blockers, if you struggle with managing money, if you struggle with understanding money, if you have a confidence issue, low self-esteem, work on those things. Do the personal work. Go to therapy, right? Go to therapy and work those out, because if you carry those into business, one thing business will do is expose your trauma, like hard and fast. Like, if you have a problem with being criticized, it will expose that. If you have a problem with saving or being able to manage money, it will expose that. If you have low self-esteem, it will expose it, right? And it's better to do the work before you put yourself on a big platform, on a big stage, and then you've got a big light on you and it's like, actually, she doesn't believe in what she's offering. So do the internal work. That's the first part. If you do suffer with low self-esteem, go and do something that helps you build your confidence. Like, go to a heels dance class. Like, do something that pushes you out of your comfort zone and forces you to really embody yourself and understand yourself. From more of like a systems and operations point of view, just start. So once you've done all of that, right, and you've identified your blockers and where you feel like you could grow as a person, just start small. Don't think that you're going to make 20-30 grand overnight. You might do. Nothing's impossible, but don't put that pressure on yourself to do that, because, you know, there's this like lifestyle inflation, I like to call it, on social media, where it's like, you know, you've got people coming fresh out of uni who think that it's normal to be a millionaire by the age of 25.
Not even fresh out of university, up 17-year-olds, 18-year-olds,
Literally, who think it's normal.
I'm driving this and
It's not normal. That's not normal. The average millionaire is like 50, 60 years old. Like, if you hit those kind of figures before then, you are exceptional, right? You are extraordinary. That's not normal. Is it possible? Absolutely. But you really do have to take the steps and build the blocks. You're not just going to get there. So I would say just start. Put your first iteration of the product out. Prepare to be embarrassed. Prepare to be embarrassed. Prepare to look back and be like, oh my God, so cringe. Like, why did I do that?
Yeah.
I recently had a big clearer of our Instagram, and that page used to be my own personal page. Oh my goodness, I was going back through like my first ever post, like putting my value out into the world. I was like, oh my God, Georgia, wow. Like, could you have not focused the camera? Like, what's going on? Why do you look so orange? Like, do you know what I mean? You need to be embarrassed. But the cost of success is embarrassment. We hear it time and time again, and it's become a bit of like a cliche saying, right? But it's so true.
Yeah.
It's so true. Be prepared to be embarrassed. Just start. Surround yourself with people who make you feel like your goals are too small.
Yeah.
Like, surround yourself with people who inspire you, that you aspire to be like that, empower you. If you're around people who make you feel like your goals are too big, they're going to stifle you. So sometimes the biggest blocker is not yourself, it's the people around you. You really have to shift out of your environment to grow and be more.
And I was just going to say, we were saying, because
Weren't we?
we had lunch before this, and we were literally saying it's difficult because, let's say, like my mom, she grew up in East London, not necessarily like it was a poor area.
Yeah.
And if you were to then say, or if you lived in an environment where it's like, okay, I want to hit, you said to someone, I want to hit 10K a month, or I want to do this and I want to do that. And it's like, no, that's unrealistic and this and that. And you're having all those limiting beliefs.
Yeah.
Whether you like it or not, you're going to internalize it. So it's being around the right people. And even if you can't do that, it might be watching videos or having social media create, like people on the internet that you can listen to and like understand that these things are achievable.
100%. 100%.
Would you say, in terms of with that environment, let's say that person living in East London or wherever it is, what would you kind of say for them to have that environment? How would you say to build that?
Well, look, you curate your feed, right? So instead of scrolling on TikTok and looking at funny videos and nonsense, and don't get me wrong, we're all guilty of it. Like, I love a good scroll and I love a good laugh, and TikTok is the place to get a good laugh. However, you can utilize that platform to educate.
Yeah.
Right? So if you can't actually, you don't have those people in your proximity, the people who are used to earning £200,000 a month, because that is some people's reality.
At their baseline.
And their baseline, right? If you're not in proximity to those people, then do it digitally and utilize your feed to really allow it to infiltrate your world. I would also say networking. I know we spoke about how important your network is, and a lot of people say to me, well, Georgia, like, how do you know so many people, and how do you get around people that are decision makers, or that empower you forwards or push you forwards and say your name in rooms that you're not in? It really is just about being audacious and having audacity to ask. When I started out, I asked so many people, will you come for coffee with me? Like, let's meet for brunch. Let's do this. Let's do that. I was driving a little Mitsubishi Colt Banger, and I was whipping up and down the motorway, meeting people, because I was like, I know where I want to get to. And in order to get that, I need to be around people who've already done it. Like, I need to play the game with people who are playing well, right? If you aspire to be the fastest sprinter in the world, you're not going to be with the slowest. You're not going to try and learn from anyone who's not won a gold medal. You're going to want to be on the track with somebody who has broken a world record. It's the same thing in business. If you're wanting to achieve the extraordinary, you must be around the extraordinary to embody it. So force yourself out of your comfort zone and what you know, and force yourself into rooms that are going to empower you. And I say force with like vengeance, like you really must force your way into the room.
100%, because I feel like even though it feels nice to be comfortable, you have to be like you said with the sprinting, it might feel comfortable to be around slow sprinters, because you're going to feel like, oh, okay, I'm the
I'm the
fastest one
quickest.
here.
Yeah.
But if you're around the faster ones, now you're feeling like, oh, okay, right, I need to up my game. So yes, you definitely need to be around those people and feel uncomfortable to get to where you want to be.
100%.
So talking about the foundations of building a business and getting to where you are and how someone else can build those foundations, what would you say are the non-negotiables every business kind of needs before anything else?
Okay. A confident founder. I mean, I've used this word confident so many times, but I just, it's a hill I'm willing to die on. Like, confidence, fake it till you make it. So many people have got so far in life by just being in the room and faking it. Like, I mean, I said on a podcast the other day, right? There's this saying like, say yes and figure out how to do it later.
Yeah.
Yes, to an extent, right? But don't say yes to a point where you're like, I actually don't know how to do that and I've took someone's money, right? That's a different thing. We have to differentiate between pushing yourself out of your comfort zone and then saying yes to something that you actually can't deliver on, because a reputation supersedes financial outcome or financial gain, right? If you ruin your reputation, you finished. So really focus on building a strong reputation. Treat people with kindness. Notice how I said kindness and not niceness. Some people won't like you. Some people will not like you.
Yeah.
Some people will not have a positive experience in their mind by working with you, being around you. That's a them problem, not a you problem. If you know you've been kind, and sometimes that means being kind to yourself, then however that's landed to the other person, that's that. But you can't be in business being nice. Nice is not going to get you anywhere. You have to be kind and be equitable and be fair and just, but you can't be nice. Just can't. So really get comfortable with the fact that some people aren't going to like you, and that's just that, right? And from like a stepping stone kind of place, know when to outsource. So one of the biggest things that I see in founders, and these are founders that are turning over like multi-seven figures, is that they try and hold on to everything. And that's something that is like bred in you from when you've started, right? Where it's like, I must do everything myself. I am a control freak. Like, nobody can do anything like me. You're not going to get very far. You cannot lean into your zone of genius if you are trying to spread yourself thin across the whole business. So as you're earning money, know when to outsource. Don't be afraid to invest, right? Do not be afraid to invest your money. I've invested so much money into growth because that's what you need to do in order to get further in life. Money makes money. Rich people do not hold on to cash. They don't hoard cash. They invest it, and they may not see it back for 6 months, a year, 2 years, sometimes more than that. But they invest because they know that money takes money to make money.
Yeah.
And if you come from a lack mindset, as soon as you start to make money, you hoard it, you hold on to it, you're scared to let it go. Money is a currency, right? When we say currency, from a woo-woo quote-unquote sense, and I would say that I can be a bit woo-woo, but trust and believe it works. I'm coming from like universal credit background. It works, right? Money is a currency, and a currency or current needs to flow. If you don't allow money to flow, how is it going to come back to you?
Yeah.
If you keep it stagnant and stuck, you're not allowing it to move the way that it needs to move to come back to you. So I had to learn very, very quickly, Georgia, you need to allow your money to move in order for it to come back. So you like, sometimes you're going to invest in the wrong thing. Sometimes you're going to make a bad investment. And also when you are making an investment, again, that C word, make it confidently. If you are not stepping into something with confidence, whether it's a service provider, a unit, whatever, fulfillment company, if you're not stepping in confidently, you are going to be on edge every single day thinking, when am I going to get my return? When am I going to get my... You can't operate like that. You need to let it go freely and allow it to do its thing. Trust in your service providers, because there's nothing worse than investing in a service provider and then hovering over them like you don't trust them to do the job.
Yeah.
Like, you have to know when it's time to give up a certain element of your business and allow it to run free and run without you, because then as you grow and scale, you'll get really confident with delegating. And in order to grow a business and in order to run a team, you need to be able to delegate. You can't have your hand on everything. You just can't.
Okay, so kind of leaning into that, I know you kind of mentioned it with not delegating, but what would you say from the businesses that you've worked with are like the biggest mistakes you've seen businesses getting started make?
If it's a product-based business releasing too many products at once. One hero product to become known for one thing and one thing only. Someone who's done that really well, Amy Smale, Ogni's, that one dress. Actually, it started with the blazer. The blazer with the tag. She became known for one thing, a certain silhouette, a certain shape, certain tones, and then she branched out from that. Like, you can't release 20 different products to start with unless you've got an exponential marketing budget and product development budget. Then yeah, do it. But if you're working on a tight budget, which most founders are, startup founders are, become known for one thing, like build a cult-like audience off one product alone and then move from that. What I've seen is founders who are super creative who are like, I'll do this and this and this and this. It's like, whoa, bring it back. Let's just do one thing at a time, right? I would also say mismanaging money and not getting an accountant sooner. Really important to get an accountant, really important for you to have someone around you if you're not good with money that is good with money. Because at the end of the day, if you don't understand your figures, you can't grow. And I would say the third thing, you can't build a business from behind your desk. If you're stuck behind your desk day in, day out doing this, don't expect to grow. Like you need to be traveling, visiting different cities, go to different countries, book meetings. Like, why not? Like, why not? If you want to be global, if you want to be international, then you have to be in those places in order to have those conversations and spark interest. I think that too many founders get really stuck in the doing. And I guess from like a startup phase, yes, you do have to be stuck in the doing. But as you start to gain traction, it's like, okay, make moves. Like, don't be risk averse. Oh my goodness, if you're risk averse, don't go into business. Don't do it. You'll be a nervous wreck. Like, don't be risk averse. Like, my mum always says to me, are you going to lose your home? Are you going to starve? If the answer to those two things is no, do it. If you're not going to lose your home and you're not going to starve, do it. Everything else is figure outable. Everything else is figure outable, right? And I live my life by that. Like, if I want to do something, I'm doing it. If it takes £10,000, £20,000, £30,000, £40,000, and I believe in it, I'm doing it. I don't care.
And I think especially for young people, like when I started with my business, because I was so young, when I kind of went into it, I was like, what is actually the worst that can happen? I'm not like, I'm not paying a mortgage. I don't have 4 children relying on me. If it doesn't go well, what's the worst that's going to happen? And I think the two things that kind of resonated with me as well, one with the accountant and two with the actually going out and meeting people. I don't know whether it's the whole, you know, because of COVID now, everything's digital and everything's on the computer, but I'm got very comfortable with just, okay, I've got my online meetings, I just do everything from my computer, but actually wanting to grow and go global and actually building the business, it's like you said, getting out there, traveling, going to see clients. And so
I love a face-to-face meeting, Liala. Like, if I can get somebody in the office, I want to sit with you. I want to feel your vibe. I want to feel your energy. I want you to feel mine. I want you to see how passionate I am about what I do. If we're behind a screen, you can't feel that. It feels like a sales call. Instead of, I truly believe in you. I believe in your brand. I believe in your product. I believe in, if it's a personal brand that we're commercializing, I believe in the personal brand. Like, you can make money. You can't do that from behind a screen. We have got so comfortable with just like Zoom and Teams and Google Meets. Get in front of your clients. Get in front of your customer. People are craving that in-person connection. Like, I would much rather travel and take someone out for a drink, take someone to brunch and really get to know them than be like, oh yeah, but I can save myself the train fare and the cost and this and that and do it online. You're not going to close. Maybe you will. You can close online. It's easier to close in person. So much easier to close in person.
And that kind of touches on, you know, we were speaking about earlier, Emma Green. Because this whole discourse about, I suppose it's slightly different because she's talking about an employee perspective, which I still understand and you're talking about from a business perspective. But that kind of, links on to being in person and getting those opportunities, because I feel like even though everyone's doing the whole hating and, oh my God, you shouldn't, this, that and the other, I understand what she means and what you're saying, because if you're actually in front of those people, you're more likely to get the opportunities and you're more likely to, I don't know, let's say we went for lunch and then it's like, oh, this person knows this person.
100%.
Yeah,
100%. And I actually agree with Emma in the sense that, not from the stance of like the corner office, right? I get it. Like, I understand what she's saying in the corporate corporate like mentality. From like a business perspective, I want my team in front of me. And the reason I want them in front of me is because when we are doing ideation sessions and we're bouncing ideas around, and I need to do that with you. Like, I need to feel that with you. I don't want you working at home from the sofa. If I work from home at the sofa, I'm half switched on and half switched off.
Yeah.
Right? I've maybe got like Girlfriends on, old episodes of Girlfriends on.
Yeah.
The washing machine might go off and I'm like, oh, I'll just hang some clothes. No. If I'm paying for your time, I'm paying for your time. Like, you must work, you know?
Yeah. So now kind of moving on to positioning yourself to be paid what you're worth. How would you kind of, like, when you started out, how did you figure out like what to charge and how to go about it and feel confident in your pricing too?
So it took a while. In all honesty, it took a while. Like I said, I was charging £20, which is ridiculous.
That is
right?
crazy.
Crazy. What can you get for joke? We won't even put petrol in the car, right? Just ridiculous. Not even McDonald's.
No.
It's like nuts pricing. It took a while. And here's the thing. Deciding what to charge, nobody can tell you what your price is. Nobody can tell you what your price is. You need to go off the value that you bring to somebody, right? So if your work is making someone a millionaire, charge accordingly. If the thing that when it comes to charging your worth, the key is, and I spoke about this at Professional Beauty North, we're talking about how the reason that people charge low or feel like they need to charge low is because they associate their pricing to how they view themselves. Now, going back to the whole therapy thing and working on yourself and doing the internal work, if you've got low self-esteem, then you're not going to think you're worth 10 grand a month. Even if your work is, you're just not going to think you're worth £10,000 a month because you've got low self-esteem. What you need to do is detach your pricing from yourself and attach it to the value of your work. And that is the hard bit where it feels like, well, especially as a service provider, I'm charging £10,000 a month. No, the work is worth £10,000 a month. You've got to switch the narrative in your mind. And also, is the worth work £10,000 or £20,000 a month? Ask yourself that question. Like, seriously, is it worth £10,000 a month? Is the outcome, the deliverable, worth £10,000 a month? If the answer is no, don't charge it. It's not equitable.
Yeah.
You're going to go out of business, right? If it is, and you can justify that, then do it, right? In regards to how to make others see your perceived value, or actually not even perceived value, your actual value, right? Humans are visual beings, and most people will go, I don't judge people. No, you do.
You do. Yeah, let's be
You
real.
do. Let's be so real. If you are paying somebody 10, 20, 30, 40 thousand pounds a month to deliver a service for you, you are judging them. And you're judging them based off of the first thing that someone judges you based off of is what do they look like? And not from a race, colour perspective, from a how is that person dressed? How are they showing up for themselves, right? How are they showing up for me? Dress how you want to be addressed. That is like my biggest... I have got myself into so many rooms purely based on dressing how you want to be addressed, right? Automatically, you demand respect because someone goes, oh, well, she must know what she's doing. She
cares about her in appearance.
She cares about, she must know what she's doing. Surely. I mean, she's like decked out in a suit. She must know what she's doing, right? Sometimes you've got to make people believe before you've opened up your mouth. And you're one step ahead when you dress how you want to be addressed and someone's like, well, I've got to come correct. I'm not going to ask her to discount her pricing. I wouldn't even dare ask her to discount her pricing, right? It's like if Emma Greed was sat in front of you, you wouldn't. And she said, right, that'll be £20,000 a month. You're not going to go, well, can you do it for 15? You wouldn't dare.
Yeah.
She dresses how she wants to be addressed, right? And a lot of men, now let's talk facts. Men rock up to work in a suit and tie. And it's not about the suit and tie. It's about dressing how they want to be addressed. They're demanding respect by turning up, looking the part, right? And as women, it's this thing going back to Emma Greed talking about working from home. You know, when you've got business on the top and casual on the bottom, you're not even in the mindset to attract those kind of figures, that kind of money.
Yeah.
Show up as somebody who deserves is deserving of actually listen to me, listen to what I've got to say. And unfortunately, in the world that we live in, we're in a visual world.
Yeah.
So dress how you want to be addressed. If you want people to take you seriously, take that extra time in the morning to just be like, oh, what am I going to wear? And I'm not saying I buy all my clothes pre-loved. I do not. You won't see me in Selfridges. I buy every single item of clothing pre-loved, whether that is like vintage designer shops, charity shops, vintage, you name it. You don't have to spend the earth, but just care, because you'll be so surprised how it shifts the way, it's particularly in business, people approach you and the questions that they ask you. They don't approach you with nonsense, right? So that's the first thing. The second thing is and this goes into sales psychology. When you are talking about your pricing, if I go, oh, it'd be like around 10,000 pounds.
That's how I used to say.
Yeah.
I
think it's. I'm not believing you. I'm not trusting you. I'm not paying you. I'm just not doing it, right? Say it with confidence, and then zip it. It's £10,000. The investment's £10,000, and allow the silence. Allow the moment of silence. You do not speak first, ever. You do not speak first. Allow the client, potential client, the customer, to then steer the conversation. If you then start justifying, it's £10,000, but you do get X, Y, perceived value gone. All that work that you've done up in the sales call, in the brunch meeting, gone. Because you're trying to justify. Why are you justifying? That the price is the price. Zip it, right? That's the biggest tip I can give to anybody. Say the price and then shut up. I think that would be my my tips there. It changes the game. It really does change the game. Say the price and zip it. Allow them to then stew.
And I also think, like, if you know your service is worth that and they can't afford it, that's fine too. Like, if they then say, okay, well, I can't do this and I can't do that, and then what I've had experience doing, then bring down the price, you'll pay for it, because they often turn out to be questionable clients.
Exactly. And you never do that. You never discredit yourself and devalue yourself. The price is the price. Full stop.
Now, going on to marketing and content that actually converts, what would you say for businesses, again, getting started when it comes to creating content? What is the difference between, because I feel like there's a difference between content that goes viral and content that will actually convert. And even I know, again, with my YouTube, I've had content that had 50k views, I got no clients from that, and content that had 200 views and got clients through that. And I slowly started to learn there's a difference between viral is not going to put money in your pocket.
100%. And we've had our fair share of viral moments, like 4.5 million, like crazy numbers. Didn't attract the people that we wanted to work with. Did it give us a bit of a dopamine hit? Yeah.
It feels nice.
It feels nice, but feels nice doesn't pay the bills, right? In terms of content that converts, now, broad question, because it really depends on the niche.
Yeah.
Say if it's a product, industry, etc. But it is content that is creative, but also speaks to people's pain points, right? You need to really understand your customer or your client and what they need to hear. From a service perspective, it's very, very different. Like for us, we don't sell anything. We do not sell anything on socials. We show the work, right? And for some people, they might think like, well, how are people going to book in? Because we show the work, right? And we show the outcome, and we show proof of concept. That's what we really heavily lean into now. It's almost like a portfolio. For a product-based business, that is such a big question, right? But definitely content that speaks to your audience's pain points, that they feel like seen, valued, heard in the content. Content that feels creative. Think about how much content we absorb and the tiny bits that you remember.
Yeah.
And why do you remember them? Like, you really need to look at it from a psychological standpoint, because that's all it is, psychology, right? And when you understand it from a psychological standpoint, you will be able to create content that really does capture your audience. Like you said, don't get hung up on the numbers. Nobody actually cares. Nobody cares because everybody's in the same boat. Everybody knows that social media in terms of reach, engagement is in the toilet, right? So nobody, even the big brands who've got like 500,000 followers and they might get 50 likes. They know. And you've got to think, how much content do you actually watch and think, that was brilliant, and you don't press like?
That's true. That's very true.
Right? You don't press like. You might just scroll and be like, that was fab. Because we're in an era where, because we absorb so much, pressing like doesn't equate to I liked that. It really doesn't, not anymore. So yeah, I would say understanding your customer, it really comes down to understanding your target audience and speaking their language. And you should aim not to please everybody. The people that you're not speaking to should scroll past the content and be like, I don't know what they're talking about. Fine, because it's not for you.
Yeah. With marketing and personal branding, with someone who is building their personal brand alongside the business, how or what would you recommend, or how would you recommend someone to use their personal brand to feed into the commercial side of their business?
Now, that question is highly dependent on what's the outcome for your business. If you're wanting to exit, don't even think about it, because an investor cannot buy you. So if you're building the business based around you and your face, and as soon as you strip your face away from it, nobody wants to buy it.
Before you continue, sorry, Carl, that just reminds me, do you know what happened with Plant Made?
Exactly. I'm reading my mind.
Yes, literally. And I just think now, because I go over there, and it's such a shame.
Yeah.
I go over their Instagram and it's completely different.
Yeah.
And I don't think the person that is
that whole debacle.
Yeah, exactly. But I don't think he understood that, okay, if you get rid of the founder and it's a founder-led brand,
you're not going to have a brand.
what were you expecting?
Exactly. You're not going to have a brand,
What were you expecting?
So like, if you're building a brand to exit, it can't be built around you. And that's fine. Build it around the product, build it around the community, build it around the outcome. Fine. If you're building something that you want to keep in your family for years, that you want legacy and you want your name attached, then yes, 100% leverage your personal brand. Now, in terms of building a personal brand, people think it's talking about my dog or what you had for dinner or this and that. It's not. It's your ethos, your values, your mission, your tone. Like, somebody should be able to say, she wouldn't say that. She wouldn't do that. That's personal brand, right? Like, your audience, like, truly understanding you. And by building out a personal brand, you need to be the same online as you are offline. Do you know how many people have a stellar personal brand online and then you meet them offline and you're like, who are you? Why have you jump scared me? Like, who are you, right? And it's because that online world it differs so much from their offline world. A truly stellar personal brand is where you are the same person online and offline. I mean, we've spoke a lot about Emma Grede, but take Emma Grede, right? Everyone who's met her on a book tour, she must have been exhausted, so tired. I'm cranky when I'm tired. Everyone who's met her is like, she's the most gorgeous person. She's so down to earth. She's so real. She is personable. That's a beautiful personal brand, right? And now, in terms of building network. It's not what you know, it's who you know, especially with your personal brand. Speaking engagements, podcasts, doing things for free. It takes doing things for free. Do you know how many events I've spoken at for free? Because I was like, okay, I'm building something that is called Georgia Jasmin Creative. Emphasis on the Georgia Jasmin, which means that people need to know who I am.
Yeah.
Now, building a personal brand doesn't mean that everybody needs to be in your business. They just need to feel like they are, right? I think that it doesn't mean also that you need to film everything, you need to show everything. It doesn't mean that you need to become an influencer. It means that you need to become a person of influence. Two different things, right? You can influence people greatly. I believe I influence people. I'm not an influencer. There's a difference with, like, for instance, I talk about the pre-loved clothing. People know if they saw me with a Selfridges bag full of clothes, they'd be like, she's lost her mind. Like, something's going on. Maybe she's having like a bit of a breakdown or she's going through like a phase, because I will not shop high street. I just won't do it, right? Personal brand, people know that comes from values, it comes from ethos, it comes from respecting money, it comes from not wanting to waste, it comes from understanding that with style is timeless. Trends, that's what you get on the high street, right? And that feeds into my work, that when we're building brands, we're not building trendy brands, we're building timeless brands. That's the link of personal brand into from personal to commercial, right? And it can be like tiny nuances. I mean, look at Isabella Lorna. Do you know who she is? So she came from the corporate world, and she was driving around her Fiat for years and years and years, and refused to change her car because her whole motto was work hard and a Porsche will buy itself. She's finally bought her Porsche, right? And that's part of her personal brand. That is part of her personal brand, that she doesn't waste money. Lucy McLeod never travels first class. Part of her personal brand feeds into hair syrup, because hair syrup is about providing like affordable solutions for hair problems. Why would she be traveling fit? Do you get what I mean? Like, your personal brand has to trickle through. And a good personal brand is where people will go, like I said, she wouldn't do that or she wouldn't say that. That's not her. And when people go to bat for you,
That's a good point.
insane, stellar personal brand. People were up in arms. They were up in arms. Not because Plant Made went, because of what happened, right? So that is the power of a really, really great personal brand, where people know your mission, your ethos, who you are, what you stand for, your values. So they will back you when they know she wouldn't do that. I don't know her, but she wouldn't do that. That's a personal brand.
And I feel like on the flip side as well, it can actually hurt the brand. Like, even though, okay, let's say with Elon Musk, for example, and Tesla, I know people actually used to really like Teslas, and it used to be like, there was no issue with it. And then because of all his Twitter drama and him making issues for himself, I saw this video and it was like someone throwing poo on a Tesla.
Really?
And people saying they were. And I was like, you've done this to yourself, because now you're hurting your own brand.
Exactly.
So
Exactly.
it works in the reverse.
It does. Oh yeah, it does.
Yeah. So what would you say are like any key mistakes that you've seen? Because I know sometimes you talk about you don't need to overshare. Are there any like key mistakes you've seen women make when building a personal brand?
Not realizing how fragile it is. Yeah, I would say that's the biggest mistake I've seen. That thinking that you can build a following and that they'll back you no matter what. That's not the case. Don't take people for fools. Don't take your audience for fools. Don't take people's support lightly. And yeah, not realizing how fragile trust is. When you break someone's trust, whether that's like a parasocial relationship, you break that trust, it's gone. And if your business is tied to the personal brand, then it has a detrimental impact instantly, overnight, instantaneously on your business, on your commercial brand. Yeah, I would say that's the biggest mistake. Like, if you build a personal brand and people trust you, reply to your comments. Respond to people, like, make them feel valued. Like, if someone says to you, oh my god, I love that jacket, tell them where it's from. If someone gives you like a little bit of advice for you, but thank you so much. Like, respond to people, treat people as human beings. Just because it's online doesn't mean they don't exist. There's someone behind that phone. I mean, we see it if we talk about like trolling. Oh my god, people forget there's people behind these phones, right? So yeah, not realizing the fragility of a personal brand. Very, very fragile.
Okay, now kind of moving on to building systems and teams and a structure for growth. I know you talk about, obviously you have a team yourself. How would you say, or at what point does a founder kind of need to start thinking about building a team or bringing in support? Because obviously if someone's building it from the ground up, you're using your own money, you're kind of, I can understand someone might be thinking, oh, okay, like, do I need to outsource this, or can I do it myself? Or like, what point did you bring someone on?
When I realized that I couldn't grow any further with just me alone. And you know, deep down, you will know, actually, in order for me to make more money, I must spend money. Going back to investing, you're investing in people, investing in time is the most precious thing you can have as a founder. If you don't have the time to do the things that you need to do to grow, forget it, right? First person I invested in was an assistant. She took all my admin off my plate, right? Which meant that, suddenly I've got more hours in the day.
Yeah.
I can serve more clients. I can focus on client acquisition. I can focus on being away from my desk. I can network. I can grow. I can do more speaking engagements. Wow, right? Next person I invested in was social media and content support. I don't have time to be filming and churning out content. Let me get somebody else in. Next person I invested in was same role, but for clients. So helping clients with their socials. Next role was legal. As the work got bigger, so did the contracts. I don't understand all this jargon. Let me get someone who this is their speciality. So she became the legal and admin assist. She kind of took away some of the EA's work so she could step more into operations. And then finally, head of marketing, so somebody who like oversees marketing from a kind of psychological standpoint, actually. Like when we're building our product, like what is going to make this sell? Brand activations, community development, all of that stuff. Running a team is not easy. We spoke about this, and like one thing I'll say, I do not enjoy managing people. And one thing as a founder, you have to get really comfortable with saying the things that you're not particularly good at. Actually, I take that back. I'm all right at it, but I don't enjoy it. I have to force myself to be competent at it. Now, the reason I don't like doing it is because I love friendships. I love people, and you can't be friends with your employees. You just can't. You just cannot. It goes back to that nice and kind, and you have to be ready as a founder to deal with way more problems and expenses when you start hiring. But you hire right, and it should free you up in order to earn more money and do the things that you need to do to make the business grow. You got to hire wrong to hire right. Put it that way.
Sure, I suppose you learn from it.
Oh my God, it's like you've got to kiss some frogs to find Prince Charming, right? It's the same thing. You've got to hire wrong to hire right. And like, I have hired wrong. I've hold my hands up. I've hired so wrong. But now I know exactly what I'm looking for in somebody. So I feel really confident to be like, again, that C word. I feel like confidence is like the key thing.
Yeah.
To be like, yeah or no. Straight away, yeah or no. I know the questions to ask. Like, someone's long-term goals are so important for you as a business. What people don't think, they think about the here and now. But if someone's long-term goal is to, I don't know, travel the world and be a digital nomad, why are you pouring time and effort into them? They're going to leave.
Yeah.
They're going to be there for a season, right? And granted, you would love for all your staff to stay for years and years and years, and some will, some won't. I saw a video about the M&S product developer, and she'd been with M&S since like 1990.
Oh, wow.
And she worked her way up, and now she's like head product developer. And I'm like, see, that's amazing. And M&S have nurtured her, and she's grown. And it's like, you want that for your team because you pour into them. So you want them to pour into the business, but you also have to accept that that will not always be the case.
Yeah. In terms of systems, how do you build, or actually, how would you recommend someone who is, because I understand with like this, there's people starting out, people in the middle stages, and people at the, their business is already big. So I kind of want to make sure I'm speaking to the right people. And with this, let's say you've already reached the 10K month or 10K mark or 20K mark. How would you say they should go about building systems to grow further and potentially scaling from a 6-figure business to I'm sure you've helped businesses go from 6 figures to 7 figures. So in terms of building those systems and processes, how would you say to go about that?
Do you know what? It differs, again, product and service. So if you're a service-based business, you really need to be able to have the business run without you, right? And it doesn't mean that you're not there. It means that you have got the people in place to be able to do the things that they need to do to keep the engine running. You also, from a service-based perspective, need to know where your next client's coming from. If you don't have an acquisition channel, I mean, if you're at six figures, I mean, no, actually, you can get to six figures not knowing where your next client's coming from.
True.
You can, you can be consistently outreaching. You might have great word of mouth. You might have a good network, but you don't have an actual acquisition channel.
Yeah.
You don't know where your next client is coming from. You can't predict, right? So that's the jump from 6 to 7. Service providers at 7 know where their next client's coming from. They know where they're going to eat.
I was going to say as well, I think that's such a good point, because even like with my business, like I was doing a lot of outreach via LinkedIn or let's say email. But if I stopped doing that, and let's say when I got to the 10K mark, if I stopped doing that and then I lost 3 clients, okay, now I need to put all that effort into do it again.
Exactly.
And I also probably got comfortable thinking, okay, I've reached this now. I don't need to do it so much. But it's having a system to make sure that even without me, whether I'm bringing someone on to do it or it's just going, So
investing in the sales side, right, is really important. Now, from a product perspective, that jump from 6 to 7, lean in terms of your outgoings. You need to try and keep as lean as possible and keep your margins as high as possible. If you're looking at retailers, if you're looking at retailers, decide whether retail is for you, in the sense of retailers slash your margins, slash them, right? You don't need to be in retail to be successful. You can be an e-com business.
especially now. No,
100%. Like, don't let society make you feel like you need to be in boots. Like, you don't. You actually don't. So really having that long-term goal in mind and understanding, like, what does 7 figures actually look like? Not being afraid to chop product that isn't selling. Don't get pressures over your product. If it isn't selling, get rid of it. Like, I am like the worst person for going into businesses and being like, chop it. Like, it's not sold. Get rid of it. Oh yeah, but no. Like, it's dead stock. It's dead stock sat in a warehouse costing you money. Chop it. Like, also new markets, like knowing when to scale into new markets, knowing what you need to do to scale into new markets and enter new markets, paid ads, knowing when to vamp up your paid ads, maybe utilizing different platforms for paid ads, team, having the right team in place, having the right structure in place when it comes to your team, and taking like calculated, sometimes uncalculated wild risks. TikTok shop. So a lot of brands that I work with are coming off TikTok shop.
Okay.
Don't have one. Again, like from a service perspective, you can't have one acquisition channel. From a product-based perspective, you can't rely on one platform. And what we've seen is a lot of brands who the bulk of their revenue comes from TikTok shop, not direct from their website. Make sure that you are balanced across platforms where your money's coming from, because if anything will happen, your business is finished. Right? Community development. You've got to have an offline community. You've got to have an offline community. Now more than ever, people are craving that human-to-human connection. So that's really the biggest jump. The biggest jump is understanding your margins and understanding your numbers and knowing how to keep lean without compromising on product quality. That's what takes product-based businesses from 6 to 7 figures. You've got to sell more units, but ultimately, you sell more units, it might cost you more to sell more units. You've got to know how to keep things lean.
Okay. Now, I feel like with this next one, it sits underneath everything else, because you can have the strategy, you can have the team, you can have the brand, but if your relationship with money and your belief in what's possible for yourself is broken, nothing's really going to work. So how has your own relationship with money evolved as your business has grown?
When I started, I had a massive focus on money. Huge. Like, I was just like, I just want to get to 6 figures. I just want to do this. I just want to do that. Like, and it was almost like I could prove to myself that I could do it, right? But it's funny because the more money you make, the less bothered you become by it.
Yeah.
You realize actually is that I'll be happy when I drive the Range Rover. I drive a Range Rover. Am I any happier? No, I get in it every day like I got into my Corsa and I drive to work. I'll be happy when I have the team. I have the team. I'm only well, no, I'm the same as when I was working on my own. I'll be happy when I have the office. I've got moved offices. Am I any happier? No, I feel the same, right? So you start to realize that like true happiness doesn't come from money. And when you tie your happiness to money, that's when you find you fall into almost like an unhealthy relationship with money. You're not unhappy because you don't have money. You're unhappy because you don't have freedom. Money gives you freedom.
Yeah.
You're not unhappy. Like, you need to understand, you're not unhappy because you don't have wealth. You're unhappy because you don't have freedom. You're tied to this like hamster wheel life. That's what makes you unhappy. Money will not make you happy. Freedom will make you happy. And when you understand that, you stop chasing money and you start chasing freedom. And chasing freedom looks very different. Chasing freedom looks like, okay, I don't want to be tied down to 20 clients. I want to be tied down to 5 clients because I want my freedom. So in order to be tied down to 5 clients, not 20, I must charge £10,000 per client to have my freedom. Notice there's no money, not to have money, to have freedom, right? And that's where the mistake lies, that people think, I want money. You don't want money, you want freedom. And when you change that narrative, it means that not only does it lift that money block that you have, but it also goes back to charging your worth.
Yeah.
You realize that in order to live the life that you want to live, it's not about the money, it's about the ability to do things on your own clock, on your own time. And a lot of women that I speak to get into this place where it's like, I just want money. It's like, no, you don't. Money's not going to make you happy, because I can make you £20,000, but you'd be working like a dog.
Yeah.
Do you want that? Well, no, Georgia, I don't want that. So what do you want? Well, I want my time. You want freedom. And when you base your business around freedom, you start to go, actually, that £400 client, yeah, you can keep it, you know?
And so what money habits or disciplines do you think men, like female founders, or just women in general, actually, you don't even have to be founders, should have in place, or that you also have in place?
Stop buying things to try and prove your wealth. I drove around in a beat-up Corsa with the head gasket completely gone.
Oh, gosh.
4 months. What? Like, my clients couldn't understand. Like, they were like, I don't get it. One client, actually, she's a friend of mine, was like, honestly, I was telling another friend who's a property developer, she's amazing at what she does. Like, she has all these incredible clients, but she drives a Corsa. Like, it doesn't make sense. And I was like, it gets me from A to B, does it not? Until the car stops working, I'm not changing it. I will get the car that I want. But I'm not doing it because you say I should do it. I'll do it because I want to do it, right? I'm not doing it to prove anything to anybody. I'm not trying to, I don't need to prove anything to anybody. So that's the biggest money habit. Stop flexing these designer bags, Louboutin shoes, this, that, and the third, to try and prove that you have money. If you can't buy it twice, don't buy it once. That's my motto, right? Also, this might be a little bit of a controversial one, but pay down debt before you save. You can't save in debt. Pay down your debt, and I'm not saying debt's bad. That's a conversation for a different day, right? I'm not saying debt's bad. There's good debt and bad debt. But if you're in bad debt, pay it down before you try and save. Like, so many people are like, I just want to save money. And I'm like, okay, but do you have any personal debt? Well, yeah, I've got like 15 grand. Well, pay it down. Pay down the personal debt before you save. And yeah, it will feel like you're going backwards, but you're going backwards to go forwards, right? Accountant, get a good accountant. My accountant cost me like the equivalent of a salary, but she's great.
And probably saved you a lot of money.
Exactly. She's great, right? No, don't live above your means. I had to ask my husband that the other day. We're in the car. Where were we? Can't even remember. But I turned to him and I was like, do you think we live above our means? He was like, no. He was like, why? I was like, because it's an important question to ask. Like, are we living above our means? Are we living within our means? And he was like, no, I think we live quite moderately. We live within our means. We're not extravagant. Live within your means. And it goes back to proving like this, like I said, this lifestyle inflation, like stop trying to prove. Those people don't care. And the people that you're trying to prove yourself to, they're most probably like 30 grand in debt. Like, you don't know anybody's reality. And a lot of these like influencers, celebrities and whatnot, some of them are doing it and they're super successful, and more power to you. But some of them are, I mean, Lorna Lux spoke about it. To get to where she got to, she was 50 grand in debt, paying for clothes, trips to these fancy London hotels, holidays, whatever. She was like, I was flexing, like I was faking it so that I got the bigger brand deals. Is it a bit of a strategy? Arguably, because look at where she is now, right? But on the flip side, don't let people like that make you feel like, "Oh, I must be doing the same." Don't do that, because you're just going to put yourself backwards. Like, just live within your means. I think that would be my biggest like financial tips.
Okay. And would you say, like, when you were kind of getting started or when you were younger, are there any financial advice you wish you would have had in regards to the business? Because I know you mentioned having an accountant, which is a big thing. Are there any others?
Tax.
Oh, yeah.
Oh my God. Tax. Yeah, tax. That's a big one. Knowing to put money aside for tax, because that tax bill's going to come whether you like it or not. Whether you like it or not, it's going to come. So tax, I think, understanding tax. Just doing it. You can learn anything. You achieve it. Like understanding tax. What's the VAT threshold? Like, what does that mean for me? Do I need to, moving from sole trader to limited, what are the, I mean, if you have an accountant, I'll explain it, but if you don't, like, what are the benefits? Hiring freelance or PAYE, like, what are the benefits? Like, what do you need for your business at this moment? Yeah, but tax, understanding tax, yeah.
And then lastly, obviously, talking about community mentorship and getting onto the event that I'm running, is that for you, why did you kind of want to be part of Why Not You, and why do you think surrounding yourself with the right people, communities are important in shaping where people want to go, basically?
Well, do you know what? I truly believe in the power of giving back to people. Like I said, I come from humble beginnings. Like, I've worked so hard to get to where I am. And if I've got value, even like one nugget of something that I've said that really resonates with someone and encourages them to go after what they truly want, that's my job done, right? And why not you? Why not you? Why can't you be the next Emma Grigg? Why can't you be the next Beyonce, if you want to be Beyonce? Why can't you be the next Kim Kardashian? Why not you? That is the big question. Like, why not you? And I think that too many women get stuck in, oh, I've just had a baby, or like, I'm a single parent, or I didn't go to uni, or like all these limiting beliefs. And it's like, actually, just to sit in front of a room of women and be like, I didn't go to university, I didn't have a mainstream education, I didn't study anything to do with business, and look at where I am. If I can do it, so can you. Why not you? Like, it's really near and dear to my heart that women really feel like they can achieve, and that not every woman is going to work with you, right? But you can pour into anybody that you meet. I was on the train on the way back from Birmingham, and I was opposite this young girl. She was 14, and she saw me tapping away on my laptop, and she was like, sorry, can I ask what you do? Super confident, I loved her. From the moment she opened her mouth, I was like, I will give you all the time in the world, because you have just shown me that there's still that fire in the younger generation to actually want to strike up conversation, right? And then confidence. And I was like, oh, I run a business. She was like, oh my God, like, I really want to get into business. Like, that's what I want to do. Like, I don't see myself doing a 9 to 5, blah, 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 blah. And the whole train ride from Birmingham back to Manchester, I poured into her. Did I get anything back? Should I have been working? I didn't get any work done. Like, I was just chatting to her. Then her little sister came, and I was like, that's what it's about. Like, those moments where you're able to give someone that hope. And actually, I see someone who looks like me. I see someone who looks like me, who's doing what I want to do. And I can guarantee that when she's like 20, she'll think back and be like, oh my goodness, remember that woman on the train? Like, she really inspired me to like go after my dreams. The biggest impression you can leave on someone is how you make somebody feel. And our time on this planet is limited. When you're going 6 feet under, nobody is going to be saying, oh God, she has so much money. Oh God, no one's going to be saying, they're going to be talking about the way you make, I remember when she did X, Y, Z, or I remember when she gave this person, but I remember, live your life by that. The money, everything else will come. Like, treat people with kindness, do kind things, be kind, not nice, kind, and it will come back to you. It will come back to you. Give your time. And I think that in business, we're so caught up with like money. Like, yeah, because we want to be successful. But just because you're rich doesn't make you successful. Success is how people talk about you in rooms when you're not there. And like I said, granted, not everybody's going to talk about you in a nice way. That's fine. But if you know that you've gone through life leading with positivity and kindness, then your job's done.
So to someone who's on the fence or thinking about going to this event or wanting to, not sure it's going to give them a lot of value, what would you say to them?
What have you got to lose?
True.
What have you got to lose, right? Yeah. What have you got to lose? Again, let's go back to, are you going to lose your house? Are you going to starve? If the answer to those two things are no, then come, because it might well be the moment that changes everything, the course, the direction, like everything for your life. Like, sometimes you just need to be in the right vicinity with the right people and hear from people who aren't fabricating, that are really living the life in order to get the inspiration. So yeah, ask yourself those two questions. And if the answer to that is no, then you have no excuse.
Well, thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you. I'm very excited for the event. And you've shared some very, very valuable tips. I mean, for the last bit of the video, we're going to have someone who is, well, freshly 18, getting started, and has some questions for you. So I'm going to swap out and let her ask you a question.
Right, so my name's Kyra, I'm 18, and my goal is to basically build a business similar to yours at the scale yours is. So even when I was doing market research of like what exactly I want to build, yours was actually the only business I can reference. So having this conversation is going to be really useful. So my first question is, if I'm starting out now and you as me, what would be the first 3 steps that you would take to reach my goal?
Get really, 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 really clear on what you can deliver. Know that you're going to have to start from a place that you might feel is lower than you would want to. Get some proof of concept. Offer to work for free. Like, just get something that you can put in your portfolio. And don't be afraid to ask questions. Meet with people who have already done what you want to do. And be audacious in saying, like, this is what I want to do. Can you help me? Or do you have any contacts? Do you have any expertise that you can give me? So yeah, I would say getting clear on your deliverables, meeting up with people that, networking basically with people that can help you, and also get comfortable with the fact that you're going to have to get some proof of concept. You won't see the money straight away.
Yeah, what would you say when you started out were like the key habits that you had to acquire to be able to run a business? Because obviously you have to know like the logistics behind the business, but it's also about mindset. So
100%.
like, what were those, like the routines you had to build, what were those sort of things that you had to learn?
Tenacity, being tenacious, like not giving up. Things will get really, really, really tough. You will get to a point where you're like, this isn't even worth it. Keep going. Like, don't let anybody tell you no. No one can tell me no. My mum can't tell me no. My husband can't tell me no. My team can't tell me no. Like, if I want to do something, the answer will be yes. Like, I'm going to make it happen. I don't know how. I may not know in the moment. But if I want to do something, I'll make it happen. You've got to have that mindset and belief that you have the capability to make something happen. Don't let other people's limiting beliefs stop you. You've got to be organized. I'm very type B though, I'd say. Like, I'm not a type A organized. Like, I'm organized chaos. I live in organized chaos. But it works for me, and I am organized, but in my own way. So yes, I would say that those would be the habits, and just not taking no for an answer. People will tell you no, oh, you can't do that, or no, or bit expensive. Don't take them.
Yeah. When things do get hard, what is the thing that you tell yourself to really push and keep on going? Like, what drives you to be so ambitious?
There's no other choice. I'm not working for someone.
Yeah.
I'm not getting on this hamster wheel that people think is normal. I think it's normal to have, what, like 20 something days off a year out of 365
We were
days.
saying this yesterday.
That's not normal. Do you think it's normal to have to ask permission to I've got a doctor's appointment? That's not normal. It's not a normal way to live life. Like, living for the weekend. Oh God, thank God it's the weekend, and then you've got the Sunday scaries. Like, no.
Yeah.
Absolutely not. I'm not working for someone. And when you know, like, me and my mum have had this conversation so many times. She's like, well, what if the business like starts to my lifestyle decreases? Well, what about if you have a child? What's that got to do with anything? Like, I'm not working for somebody, like, full stop, period. And once you make that decision and you know that that is like a non-negotiable for you, you then you have no choice but to make it work.
Yeah. When trying to figure out, not when trying to figure out what you want to do, but within marketing, there's so many different sides of it. So would you say when starting a business, it's best to just offer one service and know it excellently, or offer a wider range and get more clients? And also, obviously, AI is like kind of taking over everything. So what do you think is one skill that AI can't take over as well?
I don't think AI can take over content creation. I think that, yes, it can produce content, but the human ability to catch angles and expression and moments and to really capture a feeling in content, AI can't do that. Can it create graphics? Yeah, to an extent, but also that human-led experience that goes into graphic, that goes into a logo. Can AI do that? No, it's not human. So like, we can use AI to enhance, but I don't think it will take over. Creativity is not going anywhere, and people will be leaning even more so into, I want something that's delivered by a human because I want it to look different. Like, think about when AI writes an email, you can tell.
Yeah.
You can tell, right? Because it's not got that human like essence to it. It's the same with content. When AI produces content, it hasn't got that human moment to it. So I wouldn't be scared of that. Use it to enhance, but I don't think it's going to take over.
Yeah.
Now, in terms of offering a service, I would say that it depends on the goal. Now, to start with, yes, offer one, because it's just you. It's just going to be you, and you don't want to overwhelm yourself.
Okay.
You also don't want to be mediocre. You don't want to offer lots of different things and be mediocre at everything. You'd rather offer one thing and be just like stupidly good at it. But then as you start to scale and grow, offer multiple services, and just you don't need to offer everything. Offer what resonates with you and what you feel passionate about, and where you can see yourself with your team actually getting results from.
Yeah. What strategy would you suggest when starting out is the best to get clients? Because obviously there's email marketing, but I'm more of like, just grow that personal brand and people will want to work with you. So what would you recommend?
If you are wanting a personal brand-led business, allow people to get to know you. Meeting up with people in real life, get in front of people.
Yeah.
Instead of saying, oh, let's have a Zoom meeting, let's go for coffee.
Yeah.
Like, get in front of somebody, allow somebody to feel your energy. I don't know, I'm a really big energy person. Like, I'll say yes to someone based off that energy.
Yeah.
Right? And I'll say no to someone based off their energy. And I know a lot of people operate like that. Like, a lot of people say to me who don't know me, oh, I just really trust you. And I just have that energy where I'm like, I feel like I give off, if I say I'm going to do something, I will do it, right? And people can't get that online. You just sit down with someone, have a coffee, like, talk about things other than business, get to know their values, allow them to get to know yours. I would say that's the best strategy. And then as you grow, you can start dipping into other bits and bobs, but starting out, allow people to get to know who you are.
Yeah. And my last question is, when trying to grow a personal brand, obviously everybody's trying to be influenced nowadays. So what do you think actually makes you stand out and makes people want to trust you just from seeing your videos online?
Personality. Have you seen the 4 and the 5?
What?
Have you seen the 4 and the 5? Okay, both of you, after this, look up the 4 and the 5. They started their account, don't quote me, maybe like a month ago, just over a month ago. They are just blowing up. It's 4 girls, no, 4 girls from the 5 boroughs of New
Yes,
York.
I've seen it. Yeah.
Oh,
It's really good.
oh my God, they blended Sex and the City, like Gossip Girl, like they are just exceptional, right? And they all have their own personal brands within this group, but they come together. And what makes it so good is the personality, right? The personality. They all have individual personalities. Don't try and be like everybody. You're supposed to be like Marmite. A good personal brand is like Marmite. Michaela Naguera, beauty influencer. Some people can't stand her. I love her. I think she's absolutely fantastic. I think marketing genius, brilliant. You're meant to be like Marmite. You're not meant to be liked by everyone. Some people can't stand Grace Beverly. I love her. I think she's great.
I love that.
Exactly. I think she's great. Some people cannot stand Stephen Bartlett. Right? So it's like, you don't need to be liked by everybody. Don't try and be liked by everybody, because that's not a powerful personal brand. So I would say just stay true to who you are and say things with your chest, like Candice Brathwaite, brilliant woman who just, you either like me or you don't. And actually, I don't care whether you don't like me. You have to have that energy and that essence and that aura. Because if you care, you're going to try and appease. When you appease, you actually don't say what you're not saying anything
Lose
with your
part of
chest.
yourself as well.
Exactly. You can't keep up a facade.
Yeah.
You can't keep up a facade. That'd be my advice.
Also, do you think it's okay to show your weaknesses online, especially when building your business?
Ugh, hard question. Yes. To an extent. And the reason I say to an extent is because this may sound harsh, but nobody cares. Nobody cares.
Yeah, that's true.
Do you know what I mean? Nobody cares. Like, everybody's got stuff going on. Everybody has weaknesses. And when you harp on about them, nobody cares. Like,
They just like stop moaning.
yeah, it's like, and also you can sound a bit out of touch, particularly if you are running a business, you are doing things on your own terms, in your own time, you earn good money, and then you're crying on the internet about staffing or this and that repeatedly. It feels out of touch, right? So yes, you can share difficult moments and you can be open and honest, but it shouldn't be used as a strategy. I think those days are gone. Like, you know, we saw it with Amy Smale, where she went through a year of just crying on the internet, and people were like, all right, girl, like, we love you, we love Odd Mears, we support you, but enough. Like, okay. And we've seen a shift. We've seen a shift in her personal brand, and that she doesn't do that anymore because it got old. And it was a strategy. You can't use it as a strategy. So yes, show your weaknesses and be vulnerable and authentic, but
To a certain extent.
to a certain extent, like, respectfully, there's worse going on in the world. In this climate, there's worse going on in the world than you getting stressed because your supplier hasn't sent your product.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, that's cool. Thank you.
You're most welcome, honey.
Fabulous.
Yeah.
Alrighty.